I called it yesterday. I told my brother, if there's a House of Commons today, yesterday I told my brother, if there's a question period tomorrow and Pierre's there, I bet Mark Carney's not gonna show up because yesterday was so bad. And Mark Carney's somewhere else doing something, probably a PR stunt to pretend he's investing money somewhere, but he did not show up. Surprise. But we witnessed something spectacular today. Pierre asked the same question 4 times. 4 different ministers answered his question. And I have to say, man, these 4 ministers are clearly incompetent. Whoever elected these people, you have got to be part of the dumbest people in Canada. Like, why did you elect these people? You voted for whom? For Mark Carney or for these ministers? You know, like, none of these people campaigned anywhere. They just got elected, man, because, like, the people wanted Mark Carney. You have got to be some of the dumbest people in the world, if not. Seriously, man. You have to take a look at how incompetent these ministers are.
The Prime Minister promised that he would spend less, yet his deficit spending is 100% more than even Justin Trudeau. And what is the real human consequence of that? Food price inflation is rising 70% faster than the Bank of Canada's target. And today, the CEO of the major food bank network in Toronto says that there has been a 400% increase in food bank use there. Does the Prime Minister understand that his empty promises lead to empty stomachs?
The Honourable Minister of Finance.
Mr. Speaker, it's reassuring to hear the Leader of the Opposition that listened to the Prime Minister during the summer. I'm glad to see that he retained that we're going to spend less so we can invest more, Mr. Speaker, and investing more in Canadians. Like, for example, reducing the taxes for 22 million Canadians, Mr. Speaker. Like making sure that people who want a first-time home, buy a first-time home, will pay less in GST, Mr. Speaker. Making sure that we eliminate the consumer carbon tax, Mr. Speaker. I think the leaders should celebrate that this government is there for families across Canada to build a stronger and more...
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, he wants us to celebrate his...
Spend less and investing more? What does that even mean? You're spending more. He just literally said that you doubled the spending. We're gonna spend less and invest more? You're spending more and investing less.
Including failures that are leading to real human suffering. Let me quote the CEO of Daily Bread Food Bank, Neil Hetherington. So giving you some context, previously before the pandemic, we were at 600,000 for the year visits to the food bank. And so it took 38 years to get 1 million visits per year, and then only 1 year to get 2 million visits, another year to get 3 million. Now we are at 4 million visits. Food bank lineups are growing and growing at an accelerating rate under this Prime Minister. Does he realize the very real human consequences of his broken Liberal promises?
The Honourable Minister of Natural Resources.
Mr. Speaker, I'm here to announce some good news. Last night, Canada and British Columbia approved the new Silicon LNG export terminal in northern British Columbia. It's with the Niska Nation. It will be the second largest private sector investment in the history of this country. The second largest in the history of this country. It will employ thousands of Canadians. We would love the Conservatives to help us build Canada.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
This was all brought to you by the government of BC and Alberta. This has nothing to do with the Liberals at all. It has to do at the provincial... This was all brought to you by the provincial government of BC and Alberta. It has nothing to do with the Liberal government. Zero. They're taking credit for stuff that was done by the provincial government. Can you imagine that?
Mr. Speaker, the question was not about re-announcing a previously approved project. It was about the cost of food. And frankly, it is insulting. We have asked 10 questions about the cost of food in the last 2 days, and not a single Liberal minister will get up and answer it. Maybe that's because the inflation rate on food is 70% above the target. Maybe it's because there are now 4 times as many visits to Toronto food banks as there were 3.5 years ago. Maybe it's because they broke their promise to stabilize food prices. Maybe it's because the Prime Minister promised that he could be judged on the price of food. Speaking of which, what's the verdict?
Hear, hear. The Honourable Minister of Housing and Infrastructure.
Mr. Speaker, well, I know we're all in this House concerned about the price of food, and we're also concerned about our farmers. The #1 cost of living in Canada is related to housing, Mr. Speaker, and as I mentioned yesterday, people are concerned about housing prices. This government is taking action to make housing more affordable. With Build Canada Homes, with tax cuts, with the first-time home buyers tax cuts, we're making a difference for people in their pocketbooks.
Here, here.
Man, that $80 a year that the family saved is surely going to make them afford their rent. He's the Minister of Infrastructure answering a question about food.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, the question was about food prices.
Right, yeah.
And he stood up to announce that he's going to be feeding some of his friends who are going to populate this latest $13 billion bureaucracy, a bureaucracy that will build no homes and that will only reward Liberal insiders who, like him, have a record of actually doubling housing costs.
Right.
But back to food, the stuff that needs to go on people's dinner table. We have a record number of people at food banks after the Prime Minister promised to make food more affordable. Doesn't he realize that his promises have real costs for Canadians?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Sport.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's a little rich coming from the guy who voted against the National School Food Program, Mr. Speaker. But I would like to say that Food Banks Canada does exceptional work, and they also make good recommendations for government. 1, they suggest we build up Canada's social safety net. 2, they say we should solve the affordable housing crisis, and we should help lower-income workers make ends meet. Mr. Speaker, all of those things are things that Conservative leader votes against time and time in this House.
Man, you know your country's going to shit when Food Banks Canada has to recommend the government. What does Food Banks Canada have to do? And this guy has nothing to do. He's the Secretary of State of Sport. Responding to a question about food and inflation. The inflation is so high that we can see it in the grocery store. The shrinkflation and the prices are going up. We're not stupid. We see what we buy. They're going to say it's because Donald Trump, put tariffs on, wood, steel, aluminum. Nothing that has to do with making food or exporting food. I'm getting pissed off. It's funny sometimes, but these guys are running our country, man. It's unbelievable to see incompetent people like that get elected. $315,000 a year this guy's making. $315,000 a year this guy is making off your backs. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it at that. Subscribe to the channel if you're new here. Thanks for watching.